So for once, we're not in profound fitness because today in this video I want to show you my home gym setup and discuss a little bit about the practicalities of doing this if you are thinking about building a home gym. So in this video and the article that accompanies it, I'm going to give you a checklist of things that you want to consider and things to start looking at when you're researching to get the kind of equipment we use in strength training into your home gym. The first couple of considerations are the space that you're going to use within your home to do the exercising. So the first thing to look at is the floor. Now, I recommend a garage gym with a good concrete floor, or a separate room in the downstairs of your house. That I actually live in my living room, and I'm going to show you the rack I use to do that, because the rack I've got is one that folds up like this, and I can put it in the corner of the living room so it's out of the way, so that the rest of the day in my house I can use the living room as a living room, and that's a really good option if space is a little bit tight for you. However, in most instances, if you can, I recommend getting a bit more of a robust rack that will be sort of permanently in place. So ideally, we need to be on a ground floor. If you are on a first floor, if you're in a flat or an apartment, there could be some issues there, and you want to be careful that with the kind of loads and intensities you might be using on the bar, that things are structurally sound and safe for you to do so, and that's something you'll have to look into separately of this video. However, for ground floor, we want a good concrete floor, or the floor that I've got in my house here is a good hardwood floor that's excellent to train on. The next thing you have to consider is the ceiling height. I'm 5'11", and so if I'm going in to train somewhere, one of my considerations is, can I reach up overhead? Because when we press in strength training, we like to do that standing up with the barbell. So you need to make sure you've got enough clearance overhead in the room that you've selected to do so. So a ground floor, a solid floor, hardwood or concrete, and enough height overhead are the initial considerations you want to think about for selecting where you're going to put your gym in at home. Once you've selected the room you're going to be training in at home, the next thing to think about is the fun stuff, the equipment that we get to buy. Now, I'll be honest with you, in strength training, the good news is that our equipment list is actually very short. Really, it's only primarily consisting of about 4 things. We need the squat rack, a good barbell, a set of plates, and a bench. The 2 things that you want to focus on and make sure that you get right for you and the space that you're in are 1, the rack that you're going to use, and 2, a quality barbell. So in the UK, there's several providers of barbells, and we can get some sent from overseas as well. So when it comes to selecting the barbell, this is something to think about, that if you get the good one, it's going to be with you for life, and it's not really a place you want to cut too many corners. So cheap barbells that are poorly made or that are very, very budget, brand new, honestly, you probably don't want to go that route, because you'll be only buying another one 6 to 12 months later. The bar I have in my house is made by a company called Rogue. They make very sturdy, reliable bars. If you're in the USA, it's easy to get Rogue, and Europe. In the UK, they will be imported from Europe. It's a little tricky, but you can get them. The exact one that I have in my house is a Rogue B&R bar, and it's the version 2. They don't have that in Rogue EU. I had to get that sent over from the USA, and it cost me a little bit more, but it's a beautiful bar and I have no regrets. If you're watching this and you're in the USA, Rogue is, like I say, straightforward to get, or Europe, and also the starting strength bars made by Texas Power Bars, Buddy Caps, are very good as well. You should definitely check out those bars, but that's a good start point. If you're in the UK and those things aren't so accessible, then I would recommend looking at a company like Strength Shop that do several good bars. And let's get a close-up at the barbell so you can see what we're really looking for here. So when we're strength training, we really would like a bar that is not very whippy, has a decent knurl that is moderate, not too aggressive, and that has center knurling. The center knurling means that when you go to get under the bar and you're squatting with the barbell, that it's going to lock onto the back of your shirt, and that's really useful when you're training at home. Now, don't panic if you find your dream bar that's within your price range. It's a really good bar, but it doesn't have center knurling. Don't worry, because you can just take some athletic tape the center of the bar where that knurling would be, and that will serve as a good patch to help lock onto your shirt in place of not having center knurling. Ring markings on the bar, I like to have the powerlifting ring mark. If you see 2 ring markings, that's fine. You'll have one that's probably 32 inches one that's 36 inches, but it's useful to have these markers on the bar because it will show you a convenient place to memorize your hand positioning when you're doing things like the pressing movements. Now, if you're looking at barbells second hand, there's a little bit of caution here. When you go to check the bar out, just take a look at the end piece here just to make sure that it is the bar you think it is that you're buying. And secondly, the check that you need to do is you need to rotate the bar either in the rack or on the floor and pay attention to the end of the bar. And if you see these sections at the end here, these collar ends here, if you see them wobbling up or down, that may indicate that the bar is actually bent, and you don't want to buy a bent barbell. You need to make sure you're buying a bar that doesn't wobble like that, the bar's straight and the integrity is there in the piece of equipment. Now let's talk about selecting a great rack that you can have in your home gym. Now, in case you're wondering, the exact rack I use in my home gym is made by BodyMax, and it's a CF415. I've had this rack for more than 5 years, and I've had up to 190 kilograms on the rack, and it is just fine. Whichever rack you go for in your home gym, the thing that I would insist upon is that you make sure that it has these here, these safety arms that I'm pointing to now. Now, these safeties are adjustable. I can raise or lower the height of them just like I can the hooks on my rack. But the important thing about these is, and this is very important, when you're bench pressing, you must have these safeties set when you bench alone, because they will save you should you have a problem and need to set the bar down. That will prevent the bar from rolling up on your chest, rolling onto the throat and causing you a serious problem. This is useful in squatting and it's useful in bench pressing, and this is the one thing that as a coach I would insist upon for your home gym, is that whatever you get, make sure it's got safeties. The next part of the rack is the hooks here. Again, on this BodyMax, I can raise or lower these according to my start positions for benching or pressing or squatting. And if you're getting a rack like a Rogue rack or anything else, then you'll be able to adjust the hook height in that rack accordingly. And really, if you're buying a rack such as a Rogue rack or anything similar to that, you want to make sure that it's got kind of the west side spacing where there's plenty of holes and notches for you to use on that rack setting. And when it comes to plates, there's some good news here. Most of the plates I use are a metal tri-grip plate, and I bought the majority of them second-hand. So keep an eye on sites like Gumtree and eBay for people that are clearing out garage gyms or even gyms themselves that are getting rid of old plate selections. You'll be able to get most of your plates second-hand if you're very fortunate. Otherwise, some good news is that the plates are now coming back in stock on many websites. So you want a selection of plates that will go on the barbell. Remember that the bar is 2 inches, so watch out because there are some plates on the market which only have a 1 inch diameter, which are built for these kind of unusual bars that are much thinner. We're not working on those, we're working with Olympic bars, so double check that it's a 2 inch spacing on that. You can save money on the iron, okay? So you can get second hand and you're fine to do so. It doesn't matter if they've had a few knocks or bumps, don't worry about it. What I also recommend is that you get yourself a basic set of bumper plates. I have 2 plates, they are 10 kilo rubber bumper plates, and what they enable me to do, and this is important when you're deadlifting, is to get the bar to the correct height for the start position of the deadlift. Now I only need 1 plate at either end to do this. They're 10 kilo ones, they're thick enough so that when I load the rest of the metal plates on, which are not the right diameter, they're a bit thinner, sorry, they're a bit smaller, that if I try to load only the metal ones on, the bar will be too low to the ground and I can't get the correct start position for the deadlift. And the bumper plates make that problem go away. The 10 kilo ones are thick enough and robust enough that when you put the plates on, the plates do not deform. The 5 kilo ones, which are a bit thinner, will deform when you put other load on them and they'll start to wobble and then you've got a problem. 10 kilos and more on the bumper plates, don't do that. So you can get your bar set with 2 10s and add the rest of your metal plates on, which don't need to be the correct diameter, will save you some money, but it will stop the bar from being at the wrong height when you start the deadlift, okay? So that's the basic things of plates. Now, when you're deadlifting at home, either in the garage or on a wood floor, you probably will want to protect the flooring, and there's 2 ways to do this. The first is you can build yourself a home platform, and there's various articles on the internet about how to build a platform at home. Or you can buy a weightlifting platform that's a bit more expensive. It's probably cheaper to buy to make one. What I do at my house is I don't have a platform. I just, for deadlifting, have several of these basic I wouldn't really call them gym flooring, but if you check out places like Amazon, you'll get these thin sheets here. I think it costs about 10 to 15 pounds for a pack of these. And I just stack 3 each side where the plates will go. So 3 on top of each other, put the plates down on there. And the entire time I've been using these, I've had no problems at all with the floor being marked in any way. And I've had at home around 180 kilos going down on that. So that's a pretty substantial force, and these little mats do a really good job of just protecting your flooring at home in the garage or on a wooden floor. And the next piece of equipment to consider is the bench. Now, benches really come in 2 types. There's the kind that you can adjust, where you can change the angle of the back or the seat. They're adjustable. And then the other kind is a straightforward flat bench. Now, at home I have both types, and in strength training, the one that I use the most is the basic flat bench, which I got from Strength Shop. It costs more than £100, but is extremely robust and reliable. If you're going to be doing incline bench pressing or any work like that, you're going to need the adjustable bench in your purchase. So almost all of my bench pressing is done on a flat bench. When you're looking at benches, the one thing that you need to consider is what is the load rating of the bench. So take a look in the notes section. It should be on display and it should tell you how much weight that bench can tolerate. So this is important because if you're looking at adjustable benches, then you're going to be putting a lot of weight, your body weight, and that could be anything from 50 to 110 kilos, plus whatever you're holding onto as well. And it's not impossible that if you've got a bench which is very lightly made and designed to be very easy movable and is quite lightweight, that your body weight combined with what you're benching could exceed the tolerance range of the structure of that bench. So it is worth checking in the notes on any websites what is the load rating, and that's why most of my benching is done on flat bench, which can take an extremely heavy amount of weight and is very reliable, and I do less of my pressing on the adjustable bench. All right, it really is a short list as much as that of what you need for your home gym equipment. So in the rest of the article, you can see some of the lists and the links I've included that will help you see and view these items. I hope this has been very, very useful for you in kitting out your home gym. If you're still stuck or struggling, or you'd like some online coaching whereby you'll train at your home gym and someone like a coach like myself will program for you, that is a service I offer. I use that myself. It's extremely useful when getting guidance and making progress in your home gym. And you can find out more information if you'd like that at my website, strengthrevolution.org.